Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a makeup tutorial on the look that I'm wearing right now. It is very glittery, very sparkly, and it's also very colorful. And it is using the new Urban Decay Moondust eyeshadow palette that has this amazing glittery eyeshadows that I absolutely adore. And I have mainly used actually four of them on this look, and I show you one of the many ways you can use this palette. So I really hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Let's get on to it. So I'm going to start by applying a transition shade on my crease, and the one I'm going to use today is Uninterrupted by MAC. This one is a very warm medium brown that I really love for doing my transition. So we're going to apply it with a really fluffy brush right on the crease. Very softly, you don't want to apply too much because you want it to be very diffused. Then with a crease brush like the 227 by Zoeva, we are going to use the shade Taboo by Makeup Geek. This is a very dark, plummy shade, and we're going to apply it right on the outer V. Going a little bit onto the lid, but not going halfway in. And with the first brush we used, we're going to further blend it out. And then with a regular lid brush, this one is the 230 by MAC, I am going to apply another Makeup Geek eyeshadow. This one is Masquerade, and it is a very nice purpley foiled eyeshadow. I love the foil eyeshadows by Makeup Geek. They are very pigmented and they do give a really nice shine, wet look to your lids. So I am going to apply it all over my lid, focusing it more on the inner part onto the middle, but we really want to pack it especially right here in the middle. And this shade is so beautiful. And then I'm going to apply Center Stage, which is another foiled eyeshadow by Makeup Geek. This one is a little bit more blue, but it also has a purple undertone. And I'm going to apply it on the outer corner, blending it with the previous shade. So we want to make a transition from the purple to the blue. So I'm going to pick up a little bit more of the purple shadow, and I'm going to apply right in the center where the two of them meet, so that they are seamlessly blended into each other. And then with my crease brush, I'm going to pick up Uninterrupted again, and I am going to blend them a little bit better into the crease. With a smaller detailer brush like this one is from Zoeva and it is the number 240, I am going to go in with this shade right here. This is Center Stage again, and I am just going to apply it on my lower lash line. And then for the real fun part of the look, we are going to use the Moondust eyeshadow palette by Urban Decay. And we are going to use today mainly these two shadows, which are Magnetic and Vega, which are the purple and the blue. And I am going to use a 242 brush from MAC. I'm just going to dampen it a little bit with MAC Fix Plus. You can use regular water, whatever you have. I am just going to use Fix Plus, and I'm going to spritz it on my brush. And then I am going to pick up Magnetic, which is the purple shade. Because these are glittery shadows, you're not going to ruin them if you use them wet, and it's actually better because you will pick up a lot more pigment and they will stay better on your lids. If you're not using them wet, or even if you are, I think it's always beneficial if you use a glitter glue. So I am going to apply this Magnetic shade on top of where I applied the more purpley shade, or on the middle, and I'm going to bring it a little bit on the inner corner. And this is very interesting, this shade, because it has blue glitter as well, so it's going to look great with the look that we've created underneath. But just to make it a little bit more interesting, because we could use only this Magnetic shade, I am also going to use a Galaxy, which is this more deep deep blue shade, I would say, and I am going to apply it where we had the blue. So we still have that transition from a lighter to a darker shade. I love using these pigments, they are so pretty. And then to make the look even more interesting, I'm going to pick up Vega, which is the blue pigment right here, and I am going to apply it just on the lower lid. So I'm going to pick the pigment with the tip of the brush, and I'm just going to put it on top of the eyeshadow that I have laid on my lower lid. That is so intense. Wow. I'm just going to pick a little bit of Taboo, which was the first purpley dark shade that we applied, and I'm going to apply it on my lower lid on the outer part just to make it a little bit deeper. So lastly, I'm going to use eyeliner, which I think this look really calls for, and I'm going to use my favorite one, which is the Inglot one. This is number 77, which is the black one. This is really waterproof, and it stays all day on my waterline and on my lids, so I really like this one. And I'm going to use an angled brush like this one. This one is from Sephora. I think this specific one has been discontinued, but it is a really fine brush that is slanted at the top. And I'm going to apply it really close to my lash line on my top lid. Also applying the liner on my waterline. This is really black and intense, which I really like. It's going to make our eye a lot more defined since we used all this bright color. And I'm even going to make a small wing. I'm not going to be doing a very big wing because I want the central focus of the look to be really the eyeshadow. So I'm just going to make a very small wing. Just to make the eye look a little bit bigger. And because I want this look to be full glam, I am going to put on a pair of false lashes. These ones are from Velour, and the style, I don't remember which style it is. I've had these for so long. I'm just going to get a little bit of glue on the back of my hand, and then with my tweezers, I'm going to grab the lash and I'll just get a little bit of it on the back of the band, wait for it to dry for about 30 seconds, and then just get them on my eyes. So now I'm going to move on to the face, and for foundation I am going to use my Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk foundation. With smoky eyes or with a very intense eye, I would always recommend that you use a foundation that has good coverage, that you can't see your redness or your sunspots or your acne marks, whatever you've got on your skin, because your eyes are so intense, everything in your skin will be intensified. So you really want a very nice and even canvas. Just gonna fill in my brows a little bit with the MAC brow pencil. Just a tiny little bit. I don't want them to be too intense, but I do want them to frame my face. For concealer, I am going to use the Urban Decay Naked Skin Concealer, and I am also going to use their new Naked Skin Corrector. This one is in the peach shade because I have some blue undertones on my circles, on my under eye bags. So I am going to start with the corrector, the peachy one, right where I have that darkness. And I'm actually going to blend this with a brush also from Urban Decay. This is the finger brush, the F110. It's like you were using your finger, except you're using a brush. Which I wouldn't say you need because, I mean, you probably have fingers if you're doing makeup. But for a makeup artist like me, it's actually handy because sometimes there are some really hard to reach areas like this inner corner, and you don't want to be, you know, poking the person with your finger, so this is a nice brush to have. And then on top of the corrector, I am going to use the concealer. I really like this peach corrector. I've been using it for a while now, and I like it a lot because it has a little bit of coverage, which is great. And it really does the job as a corrector. So I really like that. So again, blending with a finger brush. You also put a little bit of concealer on the center of my face just to highlight a little bit. And now for highlighting my inner corner, I am still going to use the Moondust palette, and I'm going to pick up Spectre, which is the lightest, more pinky shade right down in the bottom. And I'm just going to pick it up on my finger, and I'm going to put it on the inner corner. Still not going in with my powder because I want to use another cream product. I am going to use a new cream blush by Lancome. This is the Blush Subtil, the Cushion Blush Subtil, and this one is in shade 25 Sorbet Grenadine. I'm actually not going to use a little sponge applicator that it comes with because I prefer just applying it with my fingers, and I really like this shade. It's a really pretty coral shade. I'm just going to pick a little bit of it with my finger, and I'll apply it right on my cheeks. And when you have a really dark smoky eye or a colorful eye that is begging a lot of attention, you want to have a blush that you can see. You don't want to be washed out on your face. So I'm going to powder my skin, and I am going to use for that the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Edit palette that has all of these different powders. I'm going to use the lightest one for underneath my eyes, just to set the concealer. And then I am going to use Dim Light, which is the darker powder that's right here in the corner, for the rest of my face. Just use a little bit of the powder, not too much. I'll also use the bronzer that comes in this palette, which is the Luminous Bronzer Light, which is this one right here. Using a bigger, fluffier brush, I'm just going to apply it underneath where we applied our blush. A little bit of my temples. And a little bit all over, just to bronze up a little bit. And for blush, I'm also going to use one from this palette. I am going to use Luminous Flush, which is this coral one right here. I really love this palette. Oh, and I'm using my Suku brush, which if you've seen my previous haul, I am loving it. It's so soft and it just applies the right amount of blush. I did not need to apply more blush, but since I'm using this palette, I wanted to use it. Then I'm also going to apply just a little bit of highlighter, and I'm going to use a very fine one that's not too glittery because we already have a lot of glitter on our eyes. So I am going to use the one that comes in this palette, which is Iridescent Light, and it's a very, very subtle one. So I'm just going to apply it on the tops of my cheekbones, right there. So the last step is just to apply our lipstick, and then we're ready. And the one I'm going to apply today is actually new to me. It is from Lancome, and it is called Nuit and Jour. This is one of the new Lancome ones. They have reformulated their whole range of L'Absolu Rouge lipsticks. Lisa Eldridge actually reformulated them and created a whole range of shades. And this one is a very pale sort of nude. And I think because we already have a lot of color on our eyes, I want a very subtle nude. So it's also a sheer formula, so it's not going to be too pigmented. Okay guys, that is it. That is the look. I hope you enjoyed it. I absolutely love it. I think it turned out really great. It's a great party look. Of course, you're not going to go out on the street like that. I mean, you can if you want to. You can do whatever you want. It's just makeup. You can wash it off at the end of the day. So why not just wear whatever you like? But I think for me, this is a very glamorous party look. But I really like the way it turned out. I like the combination of the purple and the blue, and also that really pop of light pink on the inner corner. I hope you enjoyed the look too. I would say you can't use just this eyeshadow palette alone because you need a nice matte shade to blend the shadows, but it actually has very good pigmentation underneath the glitter. It's not just a glitter shade. So I would say you would need something a little bit more matte to make the transition, to blend out the shades, so it's not a standalone kind of palette. But if you love makeup and if you love glitter and shine, this palette is amazing. I know I'm going to use it a lot, not just on myself, but definitely on my pro kit, on my clients, when I want to do a more glam, glittery look. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and thumb up this video if you liked it. I will see you right here on my next one. Bye!